everyone. I'm not used to having this little headset on, so I teach classes, but I usually just use my voice and it broadcasts. But my name is Chris Simon. Born here, raised here, played high school basketball here, college basketball here. Did a double major in college, math, computer science, graduated with honors. Most people think math majors that's an impressive thing. It's just, that was my lazy way to go through school. I can sit in a classroom and see a math problem and duplicate it and not have to do any work. I was part of the IT industry. If any of you know, the IT industry boosted in the late 90s. When it crashed, I got laid off a couple times. Decided no one's going to tell me when I can and can't work again, so I went and bought my first real estate property in 1999. I bought it at the foreclosure steps here. I'm an agent, but I'm actually a foreclosure guy. Bought a house, fixed it up, sold it. Bought 3 more, fixed it up, sold it. From that, was able to quit my IT job. I was getting paid $100 an hour as an IT consultant at that time. All my friends go, how do you quit a $100 an hour job? So I'm like, I'm doing this real estate gig. From that point, every time I'd go buy a house at the trustee sale or the foreclosure sales, about 2 or 3 in the afternoon, my phone would ring. Everybody's like, what'd you buy today? What'd you get? That night, I'd have it sold. I'd go buy again and again. And basically, I became what's called a property wholesaler. I've been buying about 1,000 houses a year since 2001. In 2011, I'll probably close around 2,000 houses this year. To give you an example, our company bought 15 houses on Monday. That's a big day for us, so we're just a transaction company. So that's a little bit of my background. I was also able to establish a financial services company. I signed on a personal guarantee in 2003 for a $100 million line of credit from Wells Fargo. It's a local bank we have here. When houses go from 250 to 50, you can imagine what happens to your financial services company. I also got to foreclose as a bank on $44 million worth of assets. So to say that I know the real estate market in the Phoenix area. Now, if you go to San Diego or you go to somewhere else, don't ask me. But if we're talking about Phoenix, I know the market. A little bit of history about the market. In the Phoenix area, we always have foreclosures or houses to be bought. 2003, 2004, normal market. Everything's going along. We hit our high point around the market went like this because basically everybody could get financing. The government said everybody should have the right to buy a house. Whether you have no money, no credit, you should be able to buy a house. So that's when the houses went from about, you could call it a 125 to 150 median average to about 250 to 300. That was basically 06, 07. And then basically in July 07, basically what they would do is they'd take paper, sell it on a secondary market, and in July 07, they said, we're not buying any more of this paper. Basically, there's no financing, market crashes. So there's a little history about myself. You guys are looking at property in the Phoenix area. I'll give you a little detail about Phoenix. Basically, sorry, we can only point at one of these, so I can only use this one. This is our highway systems right here, these black lines. This is I-10, this heads to LA. This is our 101 loop. It's not quite complete, but it's going to go all the way around the city. So this yellow area is actually Phoenix. Most of this product is probably your 70s, 80s product. But people do like to be in the city more. Your Surprise, El Mirage, Goodyear, Avondale, Buckeye, Tullison. This is all your product. It's all probably around 10 years old. You'll have the same of that with down here in Chandler and Gilbert. What you'll find with all this new product out here, what's nice about Phoenix is we do have some big employers, the city, and some other things like that, but most of Phoenix, because we have so much land mass around and it's so cheap, we grow out as opposed to most other cities that grow up. But our jobs are spread out everywhere. A lot of people do commute to the downtown areas, but i.e. Intel, which makes all the computer chips for most of the computers, are out all down here in the Southwest. Our football stadium and our what we call American football is way out here, and our hockey stadium's way out here. Right here is the Air Force Base, which is a large supplier. It's the biggest Air Force base in the whole western part of the United States. It protects our southern border. It's actually a big training facility too, not like we need a lot of protection on our southern border. So what's great about the Air Force Base being here is you get a lot of military tenants in the Surprise, El Mirage, Goodyear, Buckeye, Avondale area. So let's talk about housing prices in the Phoenix area. Currently, like I said, I'm a foreclosure guy. To tell you about housing prices in the Phoenix area, Hacienda Homes, Kalex Homes, Arizona Land Advisors, these are all home builders here locally in the Phoenix area. To tell you what they think of the housing prices, because there's no building going on, because all these prices are less than cost to build, those are all home buyers that have taken their money and then are purchasing homes or stock from me and leasing them up and holding them out. As opposed to building houses right now, they're actually buying homes and waiting for the market to come back, and then they're going to sell them. Once they do that, then they'll get back to building, but they got nothing else to do with their money except buy homes from me. I also have the largest private placement fund in the city, $200 million, that acquires homes from me. So if that gives you any idea what people think about the Phoenix market, not only just you guys, but even the local people, it is way under what it costs to replace these homes. Just because all these guys are my friends, if a builder goes and buys a piece of dirt, let's say he goes and buys 40 acres, he has to put the infrastructure in, the power, the utilities, the sidewalks, the streets. And most builders will tell you that just a production lot in this town costs about $25,000 to $30,000. Then you have to build that 1,600 square foot house. Even the good builders, the mass production builders, can only do that at $40 a square foot. So that 1,600 square foot house is now $64,000. On top of that, $30,000 lot price. So that $95,000 house is the cost. That doesn't include any of his profit, carrying costs, or any of the advertising, title fees, or anything else like that. So that 1,600 square foot home really is about a $120,000 house for just the cost of the home. That's why you see in Maricopa County, we only pulled 1,600 building permits. If you want to get an idea what that was like in 2004, 60,000. 60,000 building permits were pulled in 2004. We had 1,600 building permits pulled in Maricopa County last year. And that's just plain and simple. Those 1,600 homes, if you want to know where they're built, it's people that have money and just don't really care. They can afford to build it. They don't want to buy a used home. They got the money. They don't care. So that's just a little bit about that. Obviously, Scottsdale is where we are right here. That's the most expensive part of this town. Everybody likes to live in Scottsdale. Everybody likes to visit Scottsdale. This is the high-end market of our town. Tempe, this is a big rental district, mainly because that's where Arizona State University is. 75,000 students basically go to school right there. Obviously usually when they're freshmen, live in the dorms, but usually after that they go get 2 or 3 friends and go rent a local home or something like that. Rental rates will increase in this area. Gilbert and Chandler, these areas of our town are more of the higher end, the Intel worker, the engineer, that area. The 1,600 foot home in this area will probably run you probably 130 to 150, whereas in West Valley areas, you can probably get in for that, you know, anywhere as low as maybe 65, 75, 80, somewhere in there. Let's see, what else am I gonna say? There's also 2 new growing communities. FYI, there is a, right here, they just started production on the newest Intel plant. It's going to have, I think 1,000 new employees or 2,000 new employees, and they're expecting 600 new jobs just to build the facility. There is another town down here, not on this map. This is an older map. It sits right here. It's called the city of Maricopa. All those houses were built in the last 3 years. And then there's another one right over here. It's called the city of Queen Creek. These 2 areas you can also buy houses in around the 60s and 70s. I like these 2 cities because they're East Valley cities. And as the wealth grows out from Gilbert and Chandler, the values on these cities should recover quite nicely. Mm-hmm. Maricopa is right here, and Queen Creek is right here.
And the computer company, is that?
Intel's new facility, sorry, she asked where the new computer company is going. Intel's new facility is going right here. So there's a little bit of history about our market. I'm going to give you some stats on real estate just for entertainment. Our foreclosures started heavy in 2007. Basically, if you want to foreclose on a house, you serve somebody a 90-day notice. So you say, I'm going to foreclose on your house. You have 90 days to either pay us back or come current on your loan. In the foreclosure system, we had as many as 59,000 houses in the foreclosure system. We have dropped to 43,000 houses, so that's down about 30%. The notices of foreclosure are slowing. We've had 5 consecutive months of slowing foreclosure notices. In 2007, we had as many as 60,000 houses on our MLS market, so that's our retail market. Just so you know, a level market is about 30,000, not a buyer's market, not a seller's market. That's where the supply and the demand is kind of level. We currently have only 25,000 houses in the Phoenix market for sale. Most of those are short sales. Actually, 13,000 of those are short sales. Anybody know what a short sale is? Everybody understand what a short sale is? Okay, a short sale is when the bank is owed 200, call it 250,000, but the house is worth 100,000. So they put their house up for sale and say, we're selling it for 100,000 because that's market value, but we owe 250. So they get a contract and they negotiate with the bank for the bank to take a write-off of 150,000. So out of the 25,000, and that can take anywhere from 60 on the short term, 60 days would be a very fast short sale, to 150 to 180 days. So a lot of agents in this town don't even want to show those. I mean, because you can't really buy, I mean, you have to get the bank to accept a negative, and they go through, but probably only on a 25% basis. So we have 25,000 active listings in our market. 13,000 of those are short sales. So you only have 12,000 houses in our inventory currently. We've had 14 straight weeks in price increases in Phoenix. So those are our MLS stats. So the fact that you just got here in May and you're looking at buying Arizona property is probably the best opportunity that you're going to have in this market. I'm buying rentals in the Arizona market myself. The returns on them, start at 8 and can go to 15, 16, depending on what kind of product you buy. If you buy the newer stucco tile product, you generally get slightly less of a return. If you buy the older block home asphalt roof product, which is that kind of central Phoenix product right here, you'll get a lower buy price. You get a better cash flow or a better cap rate. You probably won't see as much as of the appreciation on that home as you will on the new home. People just like new homes. It's just a simple fact about it. So that's my kind of a brief 15-minute analysis they'd like to give me on the Phoenix market. I can answer any questions if anybody has any. Yes, sir?
What's the rental spike? Yeah, hi, my name is Rodney. What's the rental demand at the moment in the area?
Our vacancy rate, and you have actually RPM coming at 2 o'clock, who's part of my team. But the vacancy rate is at 5.2%. We haven't had rental increases in the Phoenix market for probably around 10 years, and I've been a landlord in this town for about 10 years. We are seeing price increases in the rentals just in the last probably, call it 6 to 9 months, and we expect to see that just because our vacancy rates are so low. Usually our vacancy rates, FYI, hover around between 10 and 12%. So at 5.2, I think that's the lowest term, and ask RPM that question, but it's the lowest it's been in probably 10 years, maybe less, maybe more than that. Yes, ma'am?
How do you screen to make sure you don't have horror tenants?
Well, once again, property management company question, but I think they do background checks and credit checks. So, but I would save that one for the property management company.
Is that 8 to 16% return, is that for typical houses?
Yeah, for single-family residences. You can go past that if you go into multifamily. The multifamily tend to bring higher returns than that.
And that's like a unit, is it, or
Yeah,
a condo?
it's they range from 4 units to, I mean, I've helped sell 168 units is the biggest one I've done.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
With some of the houses we might be looking at, because they might be older, what's the law here regarding asbestos products? For example, this hotel has asbestos products in it that banned in Australia, and I think in now all states have to be removed. So what's the issues there with asbestos products in housing?
Yeah, that one's probably a good question for your property inspector.
Okay.
Not me, but I'm sure they can help you with that one.
Hi. If we've got time, could you just run through again the different suburbs and who lives where and the wealth distribution and
Yeah, no problem.
Landmarks and things?
Okay, so Phoenix is right here. Kind of central Phoenix right here. This is kind of your single area, or people like older homes, single, kind of a hippie crowd, I guess, or Canada is right here. Scottsdale is your wealthier group of town. Right here, the average purchase price in here is probably $250 and above. Mesa, Gilbert, Chandler is kind of your engineer, banker area. Tempe is mainly either students and or follows the same group in here. Glendale and Peoria is actually kind of funny. If you go north of here, Glendale and Peoria actually has, quote, more millionaires per capita than you do here in Scottsdale. That's because they just choose not to spend all their money. They actually save it instead of spending it all. Everybody that lives over here wants to be, in the scene and kind of type of deal. And this is just kind of your average, probably $50,000, $60,000 income, whereas your incomes in this area may be 100, 120, and that's just kind of a general background of our city. I mean, obviously you have people that live here that are rich and people that live here that live in apartments. I mean, but that's just kind of the basics behind kind of where our demographic breaks out. And you got to realize, what you got to realize is with our, the pendulum swung in our market. So our market was way overpriced and had lots of money and it's swaying all the way back this way. So now our builders have not been building for about 3 years, but you still have about 40,000 to 45,000 people moving here every year. And we were building at a rate of 60,000 homes a year to keep up with that demand of that 50,000 people moving in here. Well, with the cost of homes down as far as it is, and builders flat, then you're not going to build money to lose money on the house. It makes no sense. So I'm not going to build a home that costs $125,000 when someone can walk across the street and buy one for $75,000. What we're going to see is that pendulum swung way over here. We're going to have, in my belief, a house shortage because there's been no one building and everybody's still moving here. So that's why you see the vacancy rates down at 5%. And then when the price increases, which I don't think that this market recovers at like a 5 to 7%. When a market gets depressed, it'll stay depressed, and when it recovers, it's going to that $60,000 or $70,000 house is going to recover to the cost of build, and it's not going to take 3 to 4 years. It's going to take 12 to 18 months. Once we get back to that cost to build, that 120, 125, what you're going to find is all the builders will kick back up. And the biggest employer in our state is construction. There is, and the construction will be, Buckeye is built up, but there's still lots of vacant lots here. That city of Maricopa, which is right here, will get built up. Queen Creek will get built up. This part of Surprise will start building again. But these basic areas right here are where all the finished lots are. The builders already developed them, the sidewalks are in, the dirt's ready, they just need a house on them. That's what you see here, that's what you see here, that's what you'll see in Maricopa, and that's what you'll see in Queen Creek. And as soon as those houses return to that 120 price range, all those builders will start going, and they'll start employing all the people that build the homes.
Which are the areas that you would probably want to stay clear from?
It's all a price point.
Besides price point?
Well, like I said, it's all a price point and what you want. If you want a larger cap rate, larger return, you're going to buy in the older home areas, which are these areas right here. That's going to give you a better cap rate. If you like the newer stucco tile pretty house, you know, that's going to be here, down here, or over here. It's going to get you probably a less cap rate, but probably is going to give you more potential capital growth.
In terms of the safe and non-safe areas, is there a non-safe area on that particular map?
Technically, as a licensed agent, I'm not supposed to say where different areas are, but I would kind of stay clear of down here.
Can you point that again? I couldn't see it.
Sorry, was that south of Phoenix?
Yeah, it's South Phoenix. No. See, there's a mountain range right here. It's called South Mountain. So there's a big mountain range right here that goes basically from about right here to right here. South Phoenix is all in here. There's a mountain range. So Maricopa is the newer up against the mountain. You know, actually, right here is the Chandler Foothills, and then Maricopa's right here. So, oh, sorry. This is South Phoenix. There's a mountain range that runs right here. Then you have the Chandler Foothills. Chandler, this is an old map. Chandler actually runs around to right here, and then Maricopa is right around there. Yes, sir. One more question, sorry.
What's the best schools in the area?
Our school system actually has an online system that you can actually punch in the zip code of the house and look at it. I'm not the best, I'm not an educator, so I don't know what the best schools are. Well, anyway, thank you. Hope you enjoy Phoenix. At least you came in May. Don't come back in July. It'll be 120.
Thank you, Chris.